A little over a week until the Miami Dolphins kick off the season, and the chatter is all about the offensive line. It feels like we've been stuck in this loop for years, doesn't it? Everyone's saying the O-line is the team's Achilles heel, the weak link in an otherwise strong chain. But this time, it's different. Sure, we've seen 12 different O-line combinations last year, and yet, they managed. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't a disaster either. The same group is back, with a few tweaks. Robert Hunt and Connor Williams are out, Aaron Brewer is in at center. And let's not forget Butch Barry, the offensive line coach who's sticking around, a rare continuity that could make a real difference. Last year, when injuries struck, who stepped up? Kendall Lamb, Liam Eichenberg, Lester Cotton, Robert Jones, and Austin Jackson, guys who, frankly, weren't expected to be game changers but did their jobs when it mattered. And speaking of Jackson, wasn't he supposed to be a bust? Yet here he is, earning himself an extension, proving everyone wrong. Sure, Hunt left for a bigger paycheck, but even without him, the line held firm. Is the line flawless? Of course not. But it's functional, and with Tua Tagovailoa behind it, getting the ball out quickly, the hits aren't piling up as they used to. The run game improved last season too. Yeah, the short yardage situations were iffy, but overall, it wasn't bad. There's reason to believe this line can hold its own. But what about the defensive line? Now there's a concern that's been gnawing at me. A year ago, this was the crown jewel of our defense, a unit that could go toe-to-toe with the best of them. Now, it's looking like a shadow of its former self. Christian Wilkins and Raekwon Davis are gone, and that leaves a gaping hole. The Dolphins didn't do much to fill it during the draft, and the free agent signings, Neville Gallimore, Jonathan Harris, Robert Cooper, didn't even make the roster. They brought in Calais Campbell, which sounds good on paper until you remember he's 37 years old. How much can we realistically expect from him? We've still got Zach Sealer, Deshaun Hand, and Brandon Piley. Sealer is a beast, no doubt about it, but the other two? Hand has potential, sure, but he's still trying to find his footing in the NFL, and Piley, well, he's a work in progress. This is where I start to worry. Chris Grier, the general manager, dropped the ball here. Last season, the defensive line was the heart of the defense, stopping the run, setting up the pass rush. It all started with those guys in the trenches. But now it feels like we're heading into the season with a big question mark where there used to be a rock-solid foundation. I get that it's preseason, and teams aren't showing their full hand, but getting gashed in the run game like we have? That's not something you can just brush off. Especially not with teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars and Buffalo Bills on the schedule, teams that have running backs who can turn a small opening into a big gain in a heartbeat. New defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver is going to have his hands full, no doubt. Maybe he can pull a rabbit out of the hat and find a way to mask this weakness. Maybe Hand and Piley will surprise us all. But I'm not counting on it.